Uh, Installation prerequisites: power on your computer system, go to BIOS setup, change your first boot device to CD or DVD. Okay. So for doing the installation process, you would need a CD or a DVD, which is your boot device, from where you'll be installing your operating system. So here CentOS has been taken as an example. So as soon as you boot your device, basically you will have a BIOS setup when you start your operating system. You might be knowing that F7, F5, some of the functional keys are there, which if you press, you get to see your BIOS screen there. So what happens is there is an option over there called as booting device. By default, it will be your hard disk. Okay. So by default, it will be your hard disk. So what happens is the system will try to load the operating system from the hard disk. Okay. So what we have to tell the system is try to take the disks, try to start working, try to start loading the operating system, or follow the process on the boot disk. So that's what you need to do first. As soon as you start your system, change your BIOS setting, point it to your CD or DVD drive, it will start the installation process. So as soon as the installation process is started, okay, here is something, a new term called as a Kickstart file. Let's come to this Kickstart file slowly. I hope you remember the topic that I've mentioned called as unattended installation, wherein we need not have to be manually present, but we can simply tell the system to start the installation process by giving a set of commands to a file. So that file is called as the Kickstart file. If you already performed a normal installation, then I hope you might have already understood the process involved. You'll be selecting, right from the language, then you'll be selecting all the different kinds of packages that you need as a part of the installation process. So in your LMS, here there is something called as installation guide for Linux. So what you can do is you can go through this installation guide. It contains a step-by-step process on how to install your operating system, what are the prerequisites needed. So here CentOS has been taken for installation. So all the screenshots available in order to perform the installation process. If you can see here, both the text as well as the graphical installation has been clearly explained here. So as soon as you start booting from your device, from your CD-ROM, so you'll get this welcome screen where it will ask you the kind of installation that you want to perform. Here there are 3 different kinds of modes: the text mode, the graphical mode, and the other one, the third one would be unattended installation, or doing it from the network. So we can also install an operating system from the network using FTP, HTTP, or other kinds of services. So that would be that would help you basically in doing bulk installations in a lot of systems. Okay. So what I would suggest is please go through this documentation. Each and every step has been clearly documented here. A lot of screenshots are available. Okay, you can go through this and you can perform the installation process. So I would recommend that you perform the graphical installation first. So gradually we can you can start working completely on command line installation, text-based installation without the graphics, and that is something which you can practice in the later stage. Okay, so yeah, the Kickstart installations can be performed using a floppy, CD-ROM, hard drive, or via NFS, FTP, or HTTP. So please make a note of any kind of new terminology or the words that would come, kind of technical words that would come throughout the sessions. So please just make a note of them. So for example, here we have NFS, FTP or HTTP. So NFS is basically a network file system. FTP is a file transfer protocol, or HTTP hypertext transfer protocol. So these are different kinds of services that are available. Making use of these services, we can perform installation. Okay, so we'll be learning how to configure these services in the coming sessions. So on how to install the packages related to the services, how to configure them, and a lot more about these topics. But just make a note of them, get used to these kinds of words that would help you a lot. Okay, so next comes the next one is Anaconda enters the Kickstart mode when the KS boot option is specified. Okay, so basically if you see here, there is a file called ks.cfg. KS means the Kickstart file, yes. It's the basic configuration file that contains all the parameters that are needed in order to perform the installation. In order to perform these kind of installations, we need to generate the Kickstart file first. Okay, so how does this file gets generated? So normally when you do an installation, say attended installation, so the user is sitting in front of the system and he is selecting each and every option. I've selected the region, I've selected the time zone, I've selected the language, the different kinds of packages that I want to install. Okay, end to end I've selected, and then I have performed the installation. So what happens is, once the installation is done, a file gets generated that is called case.cfg. This file would have all the parameters, all the options that you have manually selected. Okay, you need to make use of this file in order to perform other kinds of installations or unattended installations. You need to copy this file, take a backup of this file, do a little bit of modifications, some changes in this file, and then when you perform a Kickstart installation, what you have to do is you simply have to pass this configuration file as an input to your system while doing the installation. Okay, so what the system will do is, so wherever you have placed this configuration file, so these are some of the locations that it is mentioning, say NFS, FTP or HTTP. So these are services located at different places, and you have placed this Kickstart file over there. So what happens is, before starting the installation process, you simply have to mention the path where this file is located. The system will go read that file and it will automatically start doing the installation process. So in that file itself we will mention that, so this is where the operating system is also present. Then it will take the configuration or the parameters from that file. Using that parameters, it will start doing the installation from the disk or wherever you have placed the operating system. Okay, here itself, so here you can see, so the medium means from where you are going to install your operating system. That's your last point, and prior to that you have ks is equal to URL, that is the location of your Kickstart file. So ks query DHCP for the Kickstart location. So see, DHCP, the word DHCP is your dynamic host configuration protocol. Rather than remembering what the abbreviations of DHCP, just remember that this is also one kind of service that would help the system know about other systems in the network. Okay, say you have mentioned that I want to install this operating system by taking the parameters from the Kickstart file, which is located in that network. Okay, say you have mentioned some other place or the location or the host name. So what happens is the DHCP will help you to locate that particular host, and it will get the Kickstart file from that particular location. So I'm just trying to give you some, basic examples that may not be 100% accurate, but just for your understanding's sake. So gradually, we'll gradually move into the complex things on what exactly happens and how the system contacts DHCP or what DHCP exactly works. As for now, we'll simply, for our understanding, think that so it will just contact the DHCP to locate other systems in the network from where it wants to take the Kickstart file. So from here onwards, we'll stick to the command line interface. Okay, most of the operations that we perform would be using CLI. So the basic command prompt, that is something which you can see on the screen: root at squid. Okay, some symbol inside the braces. So we'll discuss about each and every minute details that are related to the CLI and the different kinds of operations or the commands that you're going to perform over the CLI. Okay. See, basically, this is the graphical terminal that you're seeing on this particular site. Okay. Okay, I do have a virtual CentOS box set. All right. Okay, if you can see my screen, it's a virtual box. In case if your operating system currently hosts Windows image, and if you also want to maintain a Linux parallelly, I would suggest that you install Oracle VirtualBox. There is something called Oracle Virtual Manager that will help you to install Linux also. As soon as you install your Oracle Virtual Manager, you can download a free CentOS image. It would be with an extension .vdi. So these kind of images would help you to install the operating system on top of a virtual manager. So here, so you simply have to give the .vdi file, and just like you perform the normal installation, there you would also get similar options. You select all your needed parameters and you perform the installation. Okay, so as soon as I perform this, okay, I would also like to reinstate that both CentOS and Red Hat both are similar. All the utilities and the features are the same. Okay, so this is the graphical part that I'm currently showing you. So you can open a terminal over here. So usually the main primary administrative user in Linux operating system is called as root. Okay, rooting. So this user can perform all kinds of operations, but I would recommend that right from the beginning, create a non-root user, a local user or a normal user, and try to perform all kinds of operations using that particular user. And wherever necessary, wherever the normal user doesn't have permissions to perform a particular operation, try to switch to the root user, perform the operation, and then again switch back to the normal user. Okay, because as a root user, there is a possibility that you perform some kind of operation, or you run a command and you end up deleting all kinds of files in your operating system. Okay, so it is very important that till the time you get used to the system and all kinds of commands, it is highly recommended that you log in as a normal user, because normal user doesn't have access to perform such kind of operations. Okay. Okay. Now just look into this particular terminal. Let's start from slash. Okay. So this // this is considered as the root folder or the topmost folder. I hope you have some knowledge about the basics of Linux operating system. It is kind of an inverted tree structure. Okay, starting from /, we have different kinds of folders here. So these folders, if you take the first one, bin means it contains all different kinds of binary files. Okay, so when I say binary file, what it means is, if you see here, I'm running a command called ls. Okay, when I run this command, it is giving me some kind of output. So what exactly is this command? So this ls in turn will point out to a binary. So when I run ls command, that binary will get executed. It will perform the operations. Okay, similarly, different kinds of commands are present in the form of binaries inside the bin folder. All right. Okay. Next, if you like that, if you take home folder, home is nothing but it contains my home directory. Whoever user who is there in the system, all the system users will have their own home folder. So their space will be allocated for those users. So the moment when I log in into my system, so I'll be there in my home folder. If you log in as a root user, the root user will have his own home folder, which is called as /root. Like that, every user will have his own home folder where then what do you see? You can also call it as the landing page. Okay. Okay, fine. So like that, these are all different folders, and have, in case you want to know anything about a specific folder, let me know. But we'll be covering all different things about all these folders in the next slides. So here we have reached a place in the PPT. It's all about bash shell. Okay. Okay. If you see here, right, currently, okay, what is a shell? Okay, if you have read about the operating system, you would get to know that shell is an interpreter. Okay, so interpreter means there is something called as your operating system kernel. Okay, and there is a user sitting in front of the system, and the user is giving some kinds of instructions to the operating system. Okay, now I've given a command called ls. I've given an instruction. Okay, so what happens is this shell or the interpreter, what it will do is it will take this command and it will try to interact with the kernel. It will look at the corresponding binary, and then it will give me some sort of output. Okay, so the shell is called as kind of mediator, interpreter. Whatever the user input is there, so what it will do is it will convert the user input into what is a system understandable format or the native binary, and it will perform that particular operation, and then it will again fetch the output and present it to the user in a user readable format. Okay. Okay. Now there are different kinds of shells in a Linux operating system. Currently, the shell in which I'm working, I have logged in. It is called as bash shell. Okay, this shell is present in this particular location. Okay, it is sufficient if you remember that shell is an interpreter. Okay, what it does is whatever instructions that the user gives, it will pass it to the kernel, and whatever output or the instructions kernel gives, it will show it to the user. So that is the main job. So everything, for every kind of operation, there will be shell who takes care of the execution part. And currently, what is the shell that we have logged in? It is called as bash. And so definitely the next question would be, is it the only shell that is available in the system, or are there different kinds of shells that are available? Okay, so the answer is yes. There are different kinds of shells that are available. Okay. Uh, there is a file inside your etc folder, which you can see here, /etc. etc basically it is a subfolder under your main root folder under slash. It contains different kinds of configuration file. It is one of the most important folder in your Linux operating system. Okay, so inside that there is a file called shells. So there you can see that you have different kinds of shells: CSH, DCSH, dash, bash, sh. So if you want, you can also log in into these shells. So there is uh, some differentiation among these shells. The features are a bit different, but most of the time it will perform all kinds of operations from the bash shell itself. Bash do contain uh, all the features that are necessary to perform as an administrator. So this is the recommended one. Alright. Okay. Moving on. So what this says is bash, or okay, abbreviation is born again shell. That's the standard GNU shell, intuitive and flexible. That's the standard shell for common users. Okay, this shell is also called as the superset of the Bourne shell. Okay. Okay, see here. The another shell which we have seen here is /bin/sh. Okay, so all the commands that we can perform on that particular shell can also be performed on the bash shell. Okay, as I've said, this is the file where you can see all this information. Okay, nice. Now, here, if you look at this prompt here, right, I would like to say a word here. So basically, it talks about the user here. It's the root user who has logged in at squid. This would be the host name, and this tilde symbol. Okay, tilde symbol basically it represents your home directory. Please remember this. Okay. See here. This is the admin user who has logged into the system, localhost, that means my current box, and then this tilde symbol, it says my home directory. So I'm gonna shift to another folder now. PWD means present working directory. Okay, here I am. Now if I use the tilde symbol, I'll be going to the home directory. Okay, so that is what it represents. Here, see. So this particular location, it mainly talks about the folder in which you are currently present. Okay, and then in the ending there is something called as a dollar symbol that says that you are a non-root user. Okay, if you log in as a root user, obviously you would see a difference. See here. Okay, just remember this kind of basic things. So dollar for non-root user, hash for root user. Okay. All right. The next thing, your default shell. Okay, if at all, see there are a lot of users in your system. Okay, and you want to know what kind of shell that particular user is using, or by default when I log into my system, my shell is bash. So if I want to change it, okay, say I want to use CSH. So by default when I log into the system, I need to be logged into the CSH shell. What should I do? What is the configuration I should change? Or where can I see all these kinds of details? So again, you need to come back to /etc. As I mentioned before, it is the folder that contains all the configuration files. Okay, and one of that file is password, etc password. It contains all the user related information. Okay, let's quickly take a look at that file. Alright, see, you get to see that there are different kinds of users present. Okay, don't mistake these users as the normal users. In fact, a lot of processes that run in the system, okay, they create a user for themselves and they run on the name of that particular user. Okay, for example, here you can see Apache is one particular process that is running and it has created a user of its own. Okay, like that, a lot of processes. If you have heard about SSH, okay, that is secure shell, so it has created a user for itself, like that. So admin user is the only user that has been created for me. Other than that, there would be a root user. Okay, so here this particular file contains all the user related information. So what is the kinds of shell in which by default I'm going to log in, what is my home directory, alright, like that, all different kinds of information. What is my user, every user will have a user ID, and he'll be part of a particular group in Unix. So just remember that every user will have a user ID, which is his identification. Also, this particular user will be part of a group by default when you create that particular user. Okay, so all those details will be present here. Okay. Okay, when you start using the bash shell or the command line interface, it is very important that you remember some of the shortcuts. So these shortcuts would help you to perform the operations more quickly. Like you may not have to waste your time, typing the things every time or moving the cursor from one end to another end when running some, large big commands and all. So these are some of the shortcuts. It's not mandatory to remember everything, but as and when you need something, just refer this and you'll gradually get user to it. I'll show you. Okay. Okay, see here, right? Using your up and down arrows, you'll get to see all the commands that you have used before. So as I've shown in that slide, so Control A will bring the cursor to the beginning of the line. Okay, Control E will move it to the end. Okay, so this is how. If you use Control R, that means it's a reverse switch. Okay, so what I do is I press Control R and then slowly I'll type like TAI. I mean, I have used a command in the past which starts with TI. Then it will display all the commands that I have used. I mean, it will display the recently used command that starts with TI. Okay, that would so these shortcuts would help you to quickly let you do your job. Okay, so please keep these commands handy. Okay. Okay, here are some of the directories that I mentioned before, /. Okay, so just like root user, /, as I mentioned before, it is the topmost topmost folder in your Linux box. That means the complete tree structure starts from /, which is also called as the root directory. And under the root, you will have bin, boot, dev. Okay, you can see bin contains executables of the programs or commands to accomplish the basic tasks that are executable. So all different kinds of commands that you perform. The next one is the boot folder /boot. It contains files. So booting means, just remember the word booting. Booting means the process of starting up your system. Okay, so basically that particular folder has been allocated allocated for files that would help you when you start your system. Okay, bootable files, all system related bootable files are present in that particular folder. Okay, so your kernel image, even your OS image or the kernel image will get loaded while you initialize, while you start your system. Okay. Next is your dev. Dev means device files. Okay. Dev contains device files. That means there is something called as CD-ROM. Okay. So it is a dev file that corresponds to that particular device. Okay, it will be present here. So that will help you to identify if you have what do you say, if you have used a CD, or if you have if you have played a CD, then it will get identified with the help of this particular device file. Similarly, you have SDA, HDA. I hope you know what these are. Hard disk, SATA hard disk, or the IDE kind of disk. So all the hardware related files are present here. etc your configuration files. So lib for library files. Okay, please go through all this. So after you finish your installation, spend some time, okay, in going through all these kinds of folders, what kind of binaries are present. Okay, prompt, this is called as the prompt, the command prompt. Okay, the command prompt basically consists of the currently logged in username, the system name, and the current directory. The $sign at the end of the prompt indicates the non-user. Tilde sign, it indicates the home directory, and the hash sign at the end of the prompt indicates your root login. Okay, which are either directly entered by the user or which can be read from a file called the shell script or a shell program. Okay, so if you remember, I have mentioned something called automating the task, okay, or automating the set of instructions that you want to interpret. So all those instructions can be kept inside a shell script and we can execute that as a program. Okay, so the shell program interprets user commands which are either directly entered by the user or they can be read from a script. They are not compiled. So I hope you might have performed some C or Java kind of code executions where it will go through the compilation process first, and then what do you say, Java C, using Java C you execute the compiled part. So that doesn't happen here. Basically, whatever set of instructions you give inside a script, they'll be simply executed on the command prompt. Okay, the shell reads commands from the script line per line and searches for those commands on the system, while a compiler an executable file which may then be used in the script. Okay, I'll show you a sample example of a shell script. What we'll do is we'll take a very raw example, very basic one. Say okay, here I'll do is test, not sh. Alright, if you see here the file test.sh ending with .sh. Okay, so this is a basic, very basic script. Okay, I'm just trying to show you the flow of the script. Okay, so basically a shell script is nothing but a basic file that contains some commands or the instructions. So ls here is to list the contents of the current folder. Okay, this is the same output that it has given before. Alright, so pwd, what is the directory in which the user is currently, the current directory, pwd. Okay, /root, the same output. And I have used some other command called as who, that says who are the users who are currently logged in. Okay, so simply keeping those commands inside a file and executing the file is a process of generating a script. So gradually we will see some of the advanced features of the shell scripting topic. All right. The shell reads commands from the script line per line and searches for those commands on the system. Okay, so this is what we have seen now. So please try to perform these kinds of operations, create a text file and try to run the file and see how it does, how it performs the operations. Okay, so next is, these are the different kinds of shell types that we have seen: sh, bash, C shell, ECSH, KSH. Alright, here comes another command. Okay, we'll be going through some basic Linux commands. Okay, so far. Alright, so cat. So this is the first command usually that will be start with the people who start with the Linux commands. Cat is basically for concatenating the files. It is also used to display the content of the file. Okay, displaying the content of the file in order to edit a file, in order to concatenate two files, in order to copy a file, delete a file. Each and every operation will be performed using the command in Linux. Okay, you need to get used to all these kinds of commands. You need to practice a lot executing these commands, performing different kinds of operations, right? So this is one example, /proc/version. This is some file that has been displayed in this example. So I'll execute these commands and show you. So there are different ways of using this cat command. Okay, so here is a different example, creating a file using this particular symbol. Okay, what it does is, see, basically, how do you create a file? So what I want to do is, I want to manually, previously I followed a different way of creating this file, that is using an editor called as VI. So here another example that I want to show is, I want to manually keep giving the instructions or whatever content that I want to place inside the file, and by the moment I finish that, the file should be available. Okay, another sample, this is the file name. Okay, so what happens is, see, you don't get the prompt here, so it is waiting for your inputs so that it will create the file and keep the content inside it. Okay, so what I'll do is, this is online training and Linux admin course. Okay, controls. So here is your file. This is another way of using the cat command. Okay, so please use this command. Try to see all the different kinds of options that you can perform. You can also use cat command in order to display the contents of two files at a time. Okay, cat file1, file2 means space separated, file3, file4, etc. You can also concatenate the files like this. You can redirect. So basically what happens is, cat is trying to display this content. So this symbol is basically a redirection operator. I want to redirect this content to another file, say sample1. Okay, so now what it does is, it has, so whatever content it has displayed here, it will redirect this content into cat sample1. Okay, all basic commands. So please practice all these commands if you are not familiar with. So yeah, here some more commands. ls cd more cat. We have already used ls command to list the contents. Cd is change directory. More and less. These are two more commands which would help you to see, let's say, some top 10 lines of the file. Right, more some right. Okay, so if you have more lines, so what we do is, okay, more, okay, see, if the size of the file is big, okay, more command will partially display the content of the file. Alright, so you have seen this 46% more is left. So pressing enter will gradually show you the file. So this is the more command will be used. So you have a lot of such kinds of tools available. You can make use of for your daily use. And the next one is mkdir, that would help you to create your directory. And also I recommend that please go through the man pages before executing any of the commands. Man pages will help you to give you all different kinds of arguments that are related to a particular command. That will be very helpful for you. Say ls command, this is the basic ls command. So you can also have added features to this. If you go to the man page of ls, you will get to see the different kinds of arguments which can be passed along with the ls command. That means ls command can do much more than simply printing the contents of that folder. You can get much more information. See, one of the argument we can pass is -l. Okay, what it does is it will give a long listing. So for a particular file, what are all the different kinds of permissions? Who is the owner of that file? It's like clicking on a file and selecting the properties option in a Windows box. You will see when was this file last modified or the last access time. Like that, you'll get to see lot of information related to the arguments that can be passed. So please, it is not mandatory. You need not have to remember all this, but at least one or two would really help you. Even when you try to automate the things, adding these kind of arguments will get you more information related to every command. Alright, next. Okay, here you can see -L long listing. It will give you the file name, owner, permissions. S, it will sort by the size. Okay, so when you have that particular use case, okay, then you will make sure that, say you want to write a script wherein you have to sort the files. So rather than writing code, what you can do is you can simply pass this argument and get it done. Okay, so when such a scenario and such need comes, make sure that you go through the arguments. There would be some argument that will get the things done for you easily. Okay, ls-R shows the subdirectories also. Say you have a very big hierarchy structure. Say now the structure is like under slash, the topmost folder. You have bin, root, home. Okay, say like that, the structure has grown enormously. Say under home, some say XYZ user is there. Under XYZ you have 10 more folders. Under each folder you have again 10 more subdirectories. Say it has went up to 10 levels. Okay, it is difficult to manually browse or like that. So what we can do is, if you want to list everything, you can use ls-R command. What it does is it will show you that entire list of directories and subdirectories which are present in that particular structure. Okay, so you can also use this command to perform, see how smaller, so reverses any kind of sort. You can use the combination of these arguments. Okay, so a lot of features are available. Okay, see here. So ls-h, h is basically for human readable format. Okay, so when you print a particular file, when you do a long listing, it will try to display the size of the file. Usually it will be shown in bytes. Say if the size of the file is huge, very big, okay, say in GB or in some hundreds of MB. So if it displays in bytes, you'll see a big number. Again, we need to count the places, okay, and then consider whether it is in MBs or GBs. Rather than doing that, you can ask the system to display it in human readable format. You will get to know the exact MB or the KB of that particular file. Okay. Okay, the next comes mkdir make directory. This is the command. If you want to create a new file, you will be using a touch command. If you want to create an empty file, similarly mkdir will create an empty directory for you. Alright, so some more commands here. So by default, without passing any kind of argument, if you use the cd command, you will go to your home directory. Both are the same. Even using the tilde symbol will take you to your home directory, and then cd slash to the root folder. So these are some of the basic commands. If you want to go one level up in the directory structure or the previous directory, you can use cd space dot dot. Okay. Apart from this, if you use cd space hyphen, it will take you to your to the directory where you were previously performing the operations. For example, I am under slash directory now, and then what I did is cd space slash x slash y slash z, like that. A big folder structure I have moved into. Okay, and I don't remember where I was previously. Say if I want to go to that folder, what I can do is simply cd space hyphen. It will take me back to the slash folder. So the difference between cd space dot dot is space dot dot will take you one level backwards, that means one level up in the structure, whereas cd space hyphen will completely take you to the folder where you were previously. So there are some of good options or arguments that are available you can make use of. Okay, mkdir. Okay, let's see another example here. Let's see some of the arguments for mkdir command. Most of the commands would have -v, the verbose option available. That would help you. It will display a message regarding the operation that it has performed. So if you need more information when performing a command, you can use -v option. So -p is no error if existing, make parent directories as needed. Say if a particular folder has a parent directory already existing, so we want to make sure that it doesn't error out while creating that. So we have just 2 or 3 options with mkdir command. So more is something which we have already covered before. The results will display on the terminal screen. You can paste through the results by pressing space bar, or you can also press the enter button. So if you want to quit in the middle, you can use the Q to quit. Okay, next we'll see some more commands. There is move command, copy command, and remove command. So move command is basically to move a file from one folder to another folder, a file or a folder from one place to another file. So which is source, the other one will be the destination directory or the folder. Okay. So if you want to rename a particular file, okay, you can use the same move command to rename the file also. It's not just about moving the file from one place to another. It is also it would also help you to rename a file. cp is the copy command if you want to copy from one place to another, and you have remove command. These are very basic commands. Please practice through all these commands, and I'll show you about a small demo about using all these commands. All right. Okay. So we are here. I'll be going to my home folder. Right. Okay. I'm a root now. I want to exit as a normal user. See, I'm in my home directory. I've been using this command continuously. cd pwd. cd means take me to my home folder. pwd, I want to make sure where I am currently. Okay, here what I'll do is I'll create two folders, mkdir, okay, directory 1, directory 2. Alright, if you observe, I have used I have created two folders using the same command. Alright, there you have directory 1, directory 2. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll create a file. Okay, okay. Before going to the file creation, I just want to show you, okay, how we move from one place to another. Okay, so I hope you remember using the ls command. ls command will display the contents of the folder where we are. Currently I'm in the home folder, so these are all the subfolders in my home folder. Okay, now it is very important to understand how to, how to move from one specific folder to the other folder. Okay, so as I've said, cd / is the topmost folder or the root folder. Okay, so one of the main features of bash shell is it has, so pressing the tab button twice will help you, it will display all the subfolders inside the slash folder. Okay, so it will be easy if you keep using the tab twice. So you have typed the command cd /, you don't know what folders are present inside that, so press the tab twice. Okay, I've got this. Okay, from here I want to go to home. Okay, you need not have to type the command completely. Through M again tab will complete. This is the auto completion feature of the shell. Okay, so practice using the tab. It will help you. It will quickly complete the folder name or the file name. Even if you give a single letter or two, it will also give you all the related matches that are present. For example, here I'll use the word M. With M there is MISC, MNT, media. Okay, so I'll press the tab twice. It will give you 3 arguments. Okay, like that. Then I'll select the corresponding one. Okay, now I went to home. Inside home there is only one folder, so it has displayed it. And again, if there are subfolders, okay, again directory 1. So always try to understand this flow. Okay, so what happens is from / there are subfolders, again subfolders, again subfolders, like that. Okay, so everything, so a path will start with /, okay, followed by the subdirectory, followed by the subdirectory, and followed by other files. Okay, this is the convention that you have to follow. Say okay, so if you want to move to a remote folder, you can follow this process starting from /. But if you want to move to a folder which is already present in the current folder or in the current directory itself, so I've used this command. I've seen these folders. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll say dir1. Okay, so here try to understand how shell is executing these commands. Okay, so when you type cd dir1, what shell is trying to do is it is trying to search for this folder in the current directory. So if it is there, it will take you to that directory. If it is not there, it will throw an error. Okay, by default it will always look for a file or a folder in the current directory. Now see here, there is nothing. Okay, when I say cd dir2, it says no such file or directory. Okay, similarly I'll say cat sample. So what the shell is doing, it is searching for that particular file or a folder in the current directory. Okay, so this is something which you need to understand. Another one is, so previously what I did is I'm telling the shell that go to the root folder which is From there go to the home folder, from there go to this folder, from there go to this folder. So I am telling the shell, I am giving it the exact path where I want to go. Whereas when I say cd-dir, I am saying that search for this in the current folder and go inside it. So this is the difference. Okay. So this is how shell works. Now cd space dot dot. Okay, this is where I am. cd space dot dot. This is where I am. cd space dot dot. This is where I am. Okay, like that. Coming back to the previous folder. Another example what I'll show is, now here I am, cd space home admin user dir1. Alright. Okay. Now I hope you remember this command. cd space hyphen. See where I am. So I was in this folder before under dir1. Okay. By using hyphen will get me to the previous folder. Alright. So now I hope you have understood how shell works. See, this particular feature, this is applicable for a lot of other commands which we will be using in the future. So please try to remember this. What I mean here is, say if you want to search for a file, so I'll give a command. So what I'll do is, I want to search for a specific file. I'll give a command which is used for searching files, and I'll give the file name as a parameter. So the first thing the shell will do is, it will try to search in the current directory. So if you want to make the shell search the file in a different folder, you need to mention that specifically. Shell cannot perform operations on its own. Okay, you need to tell it specifically that, okay, I want you to do this. Okay, let me give you a quick example. Okay, see, okay, I'm here. I'll go to, okay, here I'm telling the shell. So touch is a command to create an empty file. Okay, so I'm telling it specifically, use the touch and create an empty file. So it has created it. I'm saying ls, that means print the contents of the current folder. Cat is a command to display a file. This is already an empty file. So you need to tell the shell, you need to be clear with your instructions. Then only it can perform the operations. Say, so what I want to do is, I want to copy a file, so the same one, empty file, to another folder. Okay, so here what I'm doing is // it will take me to the previous folder, and inside the previous folder there is another folder called dir2. Okay, so I want to copy this file, so I'm telling the shell, copy this file to a folder present in the previous directory. So I've got the prompt. That means it has successfully executed. Now I want to list the content of that folder, but I don't want to go there. See, I'm here. I want to list the content of the previous folder. So I'm telling the shell specifically here, go back, go to this folder, and then print the content using ls. So everything is specific here. So this is how it works. So here we have seen how we have copied a file from one folder to another folder. Okay. Now let's see another example. Here I have created a folder. It has not copied it. So I want you to, practice like this, each and everything. So if a command didn't work, why it didn't work? If it is throwing an error, so what is the reason behind throwing the error? So you need to practice in such a way. So what could be the reason why it has not copied it. So it has not thrown any kind of error when I have tried copying the file. Let's see now. It has copied it now. So what is -r? So always make it a habit of whatever argument that you see, whatever command you see, go to the man page, see what exactly it does, what are the arguments that it supports. So knowing that would help you, help you a lot in learning more about in simplifying your admin job in the future. Okay, now that another thing here. Now I've opened a man page, right? Okay, I'm using a down arrow here to go to the bottom. Say I want to quickly go to a specific place. What I can do is /. Okay, I have used the option -r. Alright, so this is how you need to search for a specific word, or if you want to quickly move to a place, so you can use the /, type the button, type the word, press enter. If you don't want, simply press escape again. Okay. So -r. Copy directories recursively. That means what it does is I've created just one empty directory. Say that directory has subdirectories or files. So what this command would do is it will copy that entire structure from one place to another place. So it's not possible simply to copy the parent directory, leaving all the rest of the files inside that. So it is mandatory. So when you are copying a file, it's a single entity. But when you are copying a folder, there is a possibility that there are subfolders or subfiles. So it is mandatory to copy it recursively. Remove and move command. We'll cover those commands along with the other commands. Okay, rmdir, rm-rf. Okay, so rm command, rm is basically to remove a file. Say you want to delete a directory itself. Okay, so rmdir is the command to delete a directory, in specific to delete an empty directory. Okay, say if a directory has subdirectories or files, it is not possible to delete that. rmdir is mainly to delete an empty directory. If you want to delete a directory containing other files, what you need to do is again use the rm command which is used to remove a file. Okay, with that you can, so rm space file name, it has removed it. Okay, but if I give a folder name as an argument, it cannot remove it because it considers it as multiple entities. That means that folder containing subfolders. So simply you need to pass the -r argument again. Okay, the one we have used it to copy. Copy -r, that means copy the folder along with the subfolders. Similarly, while deleting, pass the r argument. That means delete this folder along with all the subfolders. So if it is an empty directory, rmdir will work. If it has subfolders and files, use rm space -r. Okay. See here, if you use it, if the directory is not empty, it is going to throw this error. Then you need to modify it again. rm-r. Here F is another option. F means forcefully remove the directory.